According to the multiple nuclear model, an airport is likely to attract nearby.
Nice work. You chose hotels and warehouses, and it is correct.
In this urban model, land prices would be highest in the area labeled. Bravo, 1 is the answer.
Based on the graph, which area is the coolest temperature? Smart pick. Rural is the correct choice.
Dividing the total income of country with its population, we get per capita income, national income, average income, total income.
Well picked. Only II is the correct answer.
Name this theory.
Correct response. Bid rent is the most accurate answer.
Why is it that the informal lenders have an edge over the formal lenders in the agricultural credit market?
On track. Interlinked contracts is the correct answer.
The discontinuous portion in the aggregate supply curve of labor represents which form of unemployment?
You got it. Your choice in voluntary is right.
Central government in India made a law implementing the right to work in how many districts of India?
Sharp thinking. 625 districts is the right choice.
According to the video you saw in preparation of today's class, how many masks entered the sea in 2021?
Great job. 1.5 billion masks is the accurate answer.
In this study, the authors examined the production of the region's 3 principal staple crops. Dash.
Excellent. Maize, wheat, and rice is a brilliant choice.
If people with higher incomes pay a higher percentage of income in taxes, the income tax structure is
right again. Progressive is a valid answer.
If a business specializes in fishing, then it would be classed as operating in which economic sector?
Solid response. Primary is a valid choice.
Out of 200 million children in the school-going age group, how many are attending schools?
You're right. 2/3 is the correct answer. How did the concentration of nitrogen dioxide in Delhi change during the first lockdown? Well done. Decreased by 70% is the right choice. In this study, the authors examined the impact of dash floods on children's schooling. Smart move. 2010 is an accurate answer. Which growth model inspired the use of capital output ratio for development planning? Good job. Your answer, the Harrod-Domar model, works well here.
A situation in which more persons re-employed on a job than are optimally required is
clear logic. Your choice disguised unemployment is sound and 100% true. Harrod-Domar growth theory considered dash as a key factor in economic growth process. Valid point. Capital accumulation is true. Which parameters does the structural change approach add to the Harrod-Domar model? Nice selection. Government expenditure is the correct and valid answer.
All of the following are examples of why large cities are so accessible except dash.
Exactly. Industry makes sense and it is right choice.
As economic development proceeds, income inequality tends to follow a dash curve.
You chose inverted U-shaped, and it is correct. In this study, the authors employed the dash variables of child schooling outcomes.
Perfect.
5 is the correct choice. When we produce a good by exploiting natural resources, it is an activity of the excellent choice. Primary sector is the right answer. The Human Development Index does not contain which of the following measurements? Strong choice. GDP per capita is the right answer.
Which document provides detailed information to enable tendering for contracts?
Well reasoned. Bill of Quantities is the correct choice. In which province did Oxfam provide non-emergency aid to 550 poor households? Good thinking. Hattin is the right answer.
Which age group of children is included for calculating net attendance ratio?
Right choice. 14-15 is the best answer.
What is the share of the global population that is breathing unhealthy air?
Nicely done. 95% is a solid answer. The clearing of a forest and its replacement by another land use is called. Correct. Deforestation is the right answer. Which of the following words best describes the characteristics of a city? Great thinking. Urban is the right choice.
The per capita income of different countries is counted in which currency?
Clear logic. Your choice C US dollars is sound and 100% true.
When was Pradhan created?
Perfect. 1983 is the correct choice. Which of the following economists had not proposed balanced growth theory? Nice selection. Singer is the correct and valid answer.
Which of the following could not be considered a major economic system?
Good thinking. Human Development Index is the right answer. According to the classical theory, wage level and population growth are right choice. Positively correlated is the best answer. Which sector do export promotion councils in India focus on? Nicely done. Textiles is a solid answer.
In the Solow growth model, the demand for goods equals investment.
You chose plus consumption, and it is correct.
The HD calculates the 4 indicators to give a score between what?
Solid response. ZO1 is a valid choice. How many randomization cells are there in Demel et al? Well picked. Phi is the correct answer. In this study, the authors take the dash variables of interest. Correct. 3 is the right answer. Which of the following models is not an exogenous growth model? Nice work. You chose the Roma model and it is correct.
In this article, the authors used the dash as proxy of poverty.
Exactly. Headcount poverty index makes sense and it is right choice. Who developed the concept of international division of labor?
Great thinking. Lenin is the right choice.
Which country has the highest total greenhouse gas emissions? Good job. Your answer, China, works well here. According to Rostow, what is the main factor of development? Valid point. Investment in capital is true. Which year National Food Security Act in India implemented? Smart pick. 2013 is the correct choice. When comparing Nyaya across countries, we adjust it by using on track. Purchasing power parity is the correct answer. Solow built his model as an alternative dash. Which model?
Well done. Harrod Judges is the right choice.
Who's the most important person in a construction team?
Well reasoned. Client is the correct choice. In this study, the authors have used dash data of rain.
You got it? Your choice monthly is right.
The difference between GDP and NI is that NI contains.
Excellent choice. Remittances is the right answer.
The essay on the principle of population was written by
Great job. Thomas Robert Malthus is the accurate answer.
In this article, authors study the relationship between
Strong choice. Economic growth, inequality, and poverty is the right answer.
Which of the following was not a classical economist?
Bravo. Keynes is the answer.
Development goal for landless agricultural labor is?
You're right. More days of work is the correct answer.
Which among the following is not a public facility?
Smart move. Private school is an accurate answer.
Per capita income of Kerala is higher than that of. Excellent. Bihar is a brilliant choice. The process by which the population of cities grow. Right again. Urbanization is a valid answer.
Workers in the dash sector do not produce goods.
Sharp thinking. Tertiary sector is the right choice.
Which year gender-adjusted HD was introduced?
Correct response. 1995 is the most accurate answer.
How long has Oxfam been operating in Vietnam? Right again. Almost 70 years is a valid answer. The basic of Schumpeter theory of development. Well picked. Innovation is the correct answer. How will energy demand increase until 2050?
Strong choice. By 50% is the right answer.
ITRA filing deadline for FY19 extended till. Excellent choice. 30 June is the right answer. All investment should be in all sectors. Good job. Your answer balanced works well here. Meaning of development is different for. Smart pick. Different people is the correct choice.
How many national parks are there in MP?
On track. 9 is the correct answer.
Development of an individual refers to
Nice selection. Overall development is the correct and valid answer.
Which urban land model uses two subedes?
Excellent. Multiple nuclei is a brilliant choice.
Tertiary sector is also known as dash.
Bravo. Service sector is the answer.
A value of 1 in Gini index represents.
Nicely done. Maximum inequality is a solid answer.
Marshallian inefficiency is based on
You got it. Your choice appropriate provision of incentives is right.
Who prepared Human Development Index?
Right choice. Mahabub al-Haq is the best answer. Who gave theory of unbalanced growth?
Great thinking. Hirschman is the right choice.
What is India's rank in HIDA 2020?
Correct. 131 is the right answer.
How may growth act to Harrod?
Great job. 3 is the accurate answer. Who gave the big push theory?
You chose Rodin, and it is correct.
Per capita income hides. Valid point. Disparities is true. Big push means.
Perfect. Huge investment is the correct choice.
Expansak.
Good thinking. Social overhead capital is the right answer.
What is Ingo?
Well done. Non-governmental organization is the right choice.
Deepa means smart move. Directly productive activities is an accurate answer.
How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format.
You're right. Contact Narayan Chengder is the correct answer.